What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are here with episode number 2 of the journey through Jank. If you're just tuning in for the first time, this is our man, the myth, the legend, Bert, who unfortunately had to sell his pride and joy. And so now he's in between decks trying to figure out what's good. So, why don't you tell us what you played today?
So we wanted to spice it up a little bit, play some jank, in the spirit of things. I didn't know what I want to play. I've just been testing a whole bunch of stuff. So I wanted to play something going second, especially since our locals, we have a lot of people. Every deck wants to go first, and if you're not winning the dice roll, you're losing. So I wanted to play something. Even if I lost the dice roll, I was still winning. It did all right. It performed pretty well. I was missing some cards for it, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed this version too. It gave me a lot of board breaking power and in a very kind of different way than this deck normally kind of gets played. So
Awesome. Let's see the deck.
alrighty. So first we played 3 Vashuda. Just really good. From playing Sword Soul, I kind of learned to love this card so much. Just like the power going second and just getting a free bounce and a monster on board is just so strong. And a lot of people, they see this card and they immediately think you're playing Sword Soul, so they want to hold for some interaction. But we're not playing Sword Soul. We're playing the Spice. So you get a bounce here. You can just bounce any card. So we like bounces. So we're going 3 alpha in the main. You're going second. This card's insane. You just summon it. You bounce a card, summon it again. You get a beat stick. You just can't attack directly. And part of the reason why we're playing the Vashudas and the alphas for the bounces is we're maining 3 kaijus. So part of the theory was you see a kaiju and you see one of these, you get 2 uses out of a kaiju and you get a big body, which is pretty disgusting. And it can just turbo tilt your opponent out of the game if you see it all for going second. It's pretty good. This came up, we're playing the 1 Lone Boy, the 1 Pankratops. He came up one time against Eldritch and kind of stole the show. But yeah, going second, you got all these board breaking cards, all these ways to play around what your opponent has. Vashuda bouncing, back row, kaijuing, bouncing your kaijus, getting big bodies on board, just to essentially waste all your opponent's interaction. And then you come at them with the sauce. You hit them with the Zoodiacs. You just normal summon after you waste all their interactions, and they have no response. You just turbo Zeus. That's what we were playing today. It's pretty helmet, but I enjoyed it a lot, having all this interaction for my opponent and then just slapping a Zoodiac on board and then just be like, oh, that's what you're playing. It kind of threw a lot of people off guard. So we're playing the 3 Whiptail, the 3 Ram. We played 2 Bunny Blast. This one comes up sometimes, especially people playing Chalice and stuff. You can just negate the Chalice. Ram really good against Punishment and other trap cards that target, compulse, whatever people are playing. Also, Bunny Blast for people that are playing Flunders, the Book of Moon, helps you to get around that. We played 2 Cataroost. This was just for monster effect pops. If we happen to run into them, PK, they can always summon back the Break Sword, and then the Rusty triggers to pop a card. So, and we really didn't want to get hand trapped on anything to where we just normal summon and we lose to a hand trap. And so that's why we were playing a lot of the ones that don't have effects on summon. The theory behind it was just waste all their interaction and then just normal summon, make Zeus. And it was pretty free, honestly. Every time we went second and we just made a Zeus, it was super good. But we played the 1 Thoroughblade and then the 1 Rat to round it out. We just didn't want to get Gamut or something when we normal summon. For most of the time going second, it's not really an issue. But if they have a strike, you normal summon, they just strike you. You strike, you lose a strike either way. So minimizing the interactions with your opponent where they can remove your Zoo monster off the board was just what we were going for. And it worked pretty well today. I enjoyed playing it a lot. And then for the spells, we got 3 Twin in the main. This card was insane against Eldritch. I have some Spice in the side that was specifically for Eldritch that just stole games from him. And then we got 3 Chalice in the main. This card's just so good right now, especially a lot of times with your alpha or something. You could just Chalice your own alpha, and then he's 34, and you could punch over something, punch over Eldritch, or punch over just anything you need to, anything that's 3K or higher. I mean, you can just summon alpha, activate Chalice, negate your alpha's effect, just attack over Dragoon. For example, it's just so good. We played 2 Book of Moon in the main. This was kind of if for some reason my opponent knew what I was playing, maybe go first. Also, this is just really good to go second. So like, if I could just set up like a big X-seed and then just book a moon my opponent's monster when they try to kill it, very, very good. But also, a lot of the times, this card was just very good at breaking boards. If they have something that like a floodgatey type monster, you just book a moon it. You know, Flunders, Impin, you know, get that out of here. Zombies, Ballardrock, book a moon it. They can't respond to you. Very, very good. 3 Dark Ruler in the main. You don't have to do damage to make Zeus. He's got a battle, so Dark Ruler, make Borbo attack directly, wipe their board. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. 2 Desires in the main. You're playing pretty much multiple copies of everything, unless they're like a hard one of. This was very, very good today. I drew Insane off this all the time, ripping Twin Twisters, ripping Duster off the top. Speaking of it, the 1 Duster, and then the 1 Tinky. The 1 Tinky is kind of questionable. I'd probably play another Thoroughblade over it if I had it for today, but I didn't. Just because this can get ashed if this is the only way you head to a zoo monster. So I'd probably play just like another Thoroughblade over it, or maybe even like the 3rd Bunny Blast, since Chalice and like Book of Moon are so prevalent right now. And the last 3 cards in the main were triple Imperm. This gives you like a hand trap, and also like if you need to, you can just save it and then like just turn off a whole bunch of stuff on their board. Hit the back row, hit a floodgate, hit a monster. Very, very good. But this deck had a lot of flexibility too. So with the side deck, that's kind of where it gets really good, especially with like playing like the Imperms and like the Book of Moons and stuff. It'll make sense a little bit later. But for the extra deck, of course, Zoo Package, triple Borbo, attacks directly. That's all he does. That's all you need to know. Double Chakanine. Could summon 1 back. It comes up sometimes. You can make like Utopia Fugic Draco, but it wasn't really useful here. You don't really have like the Trident to pop the Ram anymore, so it's really just like Link Climb fodder to make a 4 material Zeus. 2 Tiger Mortar. This came up a lot of times where with some of the spice in the side deck, I was able to just make a Tiger Mortar and keep equipping zoo monsters and just get a really, really big beat stick on board, and my opponent couldn't play. And then this guy is literally he's just Zeus material. I don't even know what he does. I've never read him. And then we played the 1 Vesminato. Card's good in theory, especially if you're playing against a slower paced deck. You can just make this guy, if they just try to set pass on you, you can just punch him. Does a lot. Main boy of the deck, best boy. Double Zeus. Don't roast me about the rarities, but 2 Zeus. This guy got summoned every game, every turn. He was so good. Love this card. Very abusable. It's like whole point behind this deck. The 2 Monk for the Vishudas was great. Didn't really, ever like not summon this whenever I drew Vishuda. There's one time where I drew 2 Vishudas and discard 1, and my opponent like immediately like Hakero'd it, and then I summoned it. Summoned the second one, made the Monk, and then just played around it. So especially with this, very, very good. Monk is super great, especially from like Tenyu. And the last card was Mega Collapse. He can come up sometimes, but most of the time you just wipe people's board. I didn't have a second Vesminato. This is what this would be. So instead of playing the Mega Collapse, I never made it today, but in theory you can make it. So if you do eventually make it, you just get a Towers on board. So it's kind of like a turn 2, turn 3 play. You can essentially just make like a Vesminato, and then your Zeus, if you still have one left over, summon any Zoo, and then just make Infinite Track, big Towers. And then the only card we sided that was going second in the side deck was 3 Hate Grenade. Eldritch is super popular at my locals, and so my theory behind this was if I can Hate Grenade them, make them waste all their interaction, and then just normal summon a zoo monster, punch them in the face, they can't play. This also hurts things like Sky Striker, decks that really set back row that interact with you having monsters, things like that. They just don't get to use them, and then you just get to break their board for free. It's a very good card, especially against things like Striker. I liked it. It was really, really good today. And then we played, of course, the special, always double anti-spell order. You play this going first, and we did actually play to go first sometimes. So this right here was very, very good. You just turn off everybody's spell cards. And then also for going first, triple strike, negate a monster effect, negate a summon. Very good. Came up a lot against Eldritch players. So I'd set up the sauce I have set right here and strike the Eldritch when they try to get rid of it. Triple Judgment, it's Judgment. Stop me from breaking my boards. Stop the imperms. You know, whatever I want. Summon a monster, get rid of it. Very, very good. And then the spice of today, since Eldritch is like so annoying, and I know my brother plays it all the time, and we have another Eldritch player here. I played 3. There could be only 1 in the side, and the theory is Eldritch can only get to 35, and you only let them do that whenever they don't have a monster on board, right? And this also turns off their trap cards. So when they go Scarlet and then they chain Conch, or they activate Conch, chain Scarlet to summon the Eldritch and then get the Conch, you just chain TC Boo, and then they just summon Eldritch and they can't do anything. So a lot of the time I was making my Borbo like 36 or bigger, and then just sitting on a Borbo with the TC Boo and just having a big Borbo that they couldn't get over at all, and then just punching them directly. Because if they attacked into it, then it's like, okay, cool, then you banish the Eldritch, and then if you banish all your Eldritch, then you can't play. So it doesn't matter anyways. So it made them make a really, really hard choice, and this was very good because just sitting on big body and punching them in the face directly every turn really put the pressure on them. It only backfired 1 time, and I had to use it to stay alive before I got my big body on board. And then it just became a really grindy game, and I just stopped drawing zoo monsters, so I ended up losing, which is unfortunate. But this would have won me games, especially since I had a way to out it myself, and I had a second one in hand, so I could have outed it and then made my big towers and my big monster, and then reactivated it on his turn when he tried to out my board. But very, very good against Eldritch, and this card was just MVP today, especially going first. So many decks just couldn't play through it. But that's it. That's what we played today. We played going second zoo with the smoke screen into going first. So.
Awesome. All right, so just a little overview. How do you think the deck performed today, and do you think you'll be playing it again next time?
It did pretty well today. I really enjoyed it, especially with all the like interactions with like the alphas, the kaijus, and like the Vishudas. It's a different take on the deck. The only thing I wish I had for it was like equal boosters and an engage, especially with playing like the Book of Moons and the Chalices. It came up a lot of times where I could just summon a zoo monster up top, and then if they had anything to like try to pop my zoo monster or try to imperm the Borbo, whatever they wanted to wait for, I could have just eagle boosted it and then just swung anyways, and it wouldn't have mattered. But that was the only thing I think I would change if I do play this again. It was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it. Maybe played a 3rd Bunny Blast just to have another name and take out the 10 keys, so it has less opportunities to be hand trapped by your opponent. But other than that, it was super great. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to play.
All right, well, stay tuned for next time for our journey through Jank, and maybe we'll find another deck.